Lungi, a word that has rarely been caught in political crossfire, but has always been a strong cultural identity from south to east to even north. The SRK's Lungi dance in 2023 evoked different emotions and mainstreamed Lungi for Bollywood, but in many regional superstar-studded movies, Lungi for a very long time has been a deliberate, decisive choice of clothing. Lungi has many versions. Lungi by itself, munda, dhoti, veshti. From Mohanlal to Rajnikant, Vijay to Shivraj Kumar to ordinary citizens slaying it with the munda. I'm using the word slaying, but really it's part of everyday lives. And then one has the furore in Parliament. Joining me right now is John Brittas, a CPM MP from Kerala in Rajya Sabha, who has very strongly objected to repeatedly being called a Lungiwala. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. John Brittas, for joining us. You know,
thank you.
One question I want to ask you straight up. What I want to get into your mind and try and understand what made you so angry, what made you so upset at being called a Lungiwala?
See, Lungi is innocent. Nothing wrong with Lungi or Lungi word. But when you politicize it to ridicule somebody, there lies the problem. In fact, when I was called Lungiwala, it was intended to be a slur on me and the South Indians. And many a time, Lungiwala was a derogatory phrase which was being used against South Indians. It started in 1960s in Mumbai. Lakhs of South Indians were driven out from Mumbai and adjoining places. And at that time, the coinage Lungiwala was used widely as a derogatory term. And again, in some places, including Issa, this Lungiwala term is being used. So Lungi is very innocent because millions of people have Lungi, as you rightly said, different versions of Lungi. But in Parliament, when there is a political discourse happening, addressing somebody as Lungiwala with scorn, with ridicule, is something which I objected to. And I feel that the entire House, and especially the Honorable Chairman, also understood the nuances of this use. And the ruling given by the Rajya Sabha Chairman is something which should be underscored when we have a discourse of this in future.
You know, Mr. Brittas, you rightly pointed out what happened, what the chairman said. You have Sushmita Dev, the BJP MP, who says she never meant to, but she in no way has cast aspersions on any attire. But you've used a very important word. And you've used the word that you see it as a slur. Why do you see it as a slur amid a political discourse? Slur, demeaning, you know, for somebody, and I have seen you wear the munda, and I have seen politicians wear munda from across states, and it's not just a South Indian phenomena. And it looks beautiful, and it's not just a munda, it's the lungi, the veshti, the dhoti, whatever you call it. In this particular case, it's the lungi. What you know, from being an MP that represents Kerala, left politics, is in the parliament, what makes you think this is a slur?
Obviously, see, I'll tell you, when I said that that article or material Lungi as such is very innocent, but many a time such derogatory usage of such terms are very much discussed in our political discourse. Now, let me just tell you one thing. See, she intended not to compliment my attire very well. Anybody knows that. Why it was used. It was used as some sort of an othering. I mean, she was othering me from the others. The sense there was a divisive way of using that term. And everyone felt that. It was not to compliment me for wearing dhoti. First of all, she doesn't know the distinction between lungi and dhoti. Or I mean, that's another thing.
Munda, to take it to another extent, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to go into the nuances of that word and nuance of the dress. But I can tell you one thing. In Indian politics, many a time, see, to divide the people, such usages have been made as a slur. And I obviously underscore what happened in Mumbai, what is happening in
Mr.
many places.
Brittas, would you take us through what you are referring to? I mean, it's an important conversation, and especially at a time when you have a whole lot of politics from a, there's allegations even against the media that the news, the coverage, the politics is from a very northern lens, from a very Delhi lens. Politics as such is also now very, seen from a North India, South India lens. Very different patterns to it for that matter. When you say it's often used as a political tool, as a slur, what are you referring to? Are you referring to clothing in general, about how one uses? We've seen it with Mahua Moitra in the past as well. We've used it with Priyanka Gandhi as well in the past. But when you're talking about Mund and you're saying it's often used, what do you mean by that?
I can tell you one thing. See, many a time, even the attire, even the cuisine are being used as weapon to, create divisive tendencies amongst the people. And I can recollect many instances when people from the south used to be, addresses Madras, Sala Madras. That was the word. That means they were not bothered about, where they are from. But this so-called terminology which was used was to, segregate them from the mainstream. I can also tell you that people from the northeast always suffer discrimination. They have been called certain words like Hindi, that means Chinese. A student had to commit suicide because of such derogatory dosage, which was found non-keeping. So, our constitution respects the diversities, rich diversities of this nation. When such derogatory terms are being used, the sanctum of the Indian Parliament, I feel that it's my bounden duty to point out and object to. And I'm happy that the entire House also resonated my view. So if you segregate, that issue from the parliament and the ambience and the ecosystem, maybe I may not be having that much of weightage. But what was actually happened was that there was a heated debate that was happening in the parliament, and I was continuously being heckled or rather disturbed by this particular member, and she was not in her seat actually. She came all the way from the other extreme and sat behind me. And when she was disturbing, I said, "Please turn goats," because she had changed her party twice or thrice now, actually. They are much more enthusiastic in disturbing the opposition members. And there was no reason or rhyme to disturb me because most of other opposition members had boycotted the House. I was the only one from the India Alliance to be there because I had this statutory motion to move there against the bill being introduced by Nirmala Sitharaman. So just one single member from the opposition, when he is talking, when all of them gang up and disturb, naturally there is an acrimony scene which is developed. And at the peak of that debate, if somebody is calling somebody Lungi wala, what does it mean? It simply means it's a derogatory term. So everybody understood that. So let us not, connect that as though we are going to a shop to buy a lungi or a dhoti, and this word being used in parliament. So entirely different. That's what I said. The lungi as such per se is very innocent, and very convenient clothing. But when that is being used in a particular context, an ecosystem, that becomes derogatory. And I feel that anybody and everybody has to take objection to it because nobody has any business to, to the other sections. Yeah, believe that. I always feel that I was talking in the parliament and I was underlining the aspect that when I retire from Rajya Sabha, one thing which would be very much engraved in my mind would be this rich diversity that the House resonates and how that rich diversity is a unique way of unity of this nation. So when we are talking about the advantage of this diversity of this great country, different cultures, language, cuisine, attire, when such words are being picked up to denigrate a section of the people, that is something uncalled for and unwanted.